Okay, colleagues, now we return to our agenda. We're on to motion B, and I'm going to ask Alan Johnston to come and present motion B. Just remind you, if you want to speak to the motion from the floor, there are seats at the front to come up.
Alan Johnston, Perth and Kinross Council, delegate number 38, delivering motion B in the sleepy hour. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Who do we appreciate? This curriculum for excellence is certainly helping me reflect on my numeracy skills. However, my literacy skills have rather let me down. Could I get a line to rhyme to include CfE, SQA or Education Scotland? Alas, no. However, let us return to these numbers. What might they signify? Are they a secret religious code or important Pythagorean numbers? Nothing quite so esoteric. 4 is the number of emails in the trail reinstating national testing, whilst 5, 6, 7 and 8, the number of national 4 or 5 courses students undertake throughout Scotland, often depending on where they live. Why does it matter? A recent OECD report highlighted such structural divergence has resulted in a curricular distortion and reduced attainment throughout Scotland. However, before considering the report and its implications, 2 caveats need stating. Firstly, it is clear the blame game amongst the enlightened leaders of Scottish education is in full flow. Let them get on with it and let the report's author recognise his role in the situation. Secondly, the author's objectivity and academic credibility is somewhat sullied when he heaps praise upon the SQA. It deserves its strong international reputation, he claims, and the only difficulty with National 5 and higher qualifications resulted in changes in the higher mathematics team. Such a conclusion bears little relation to the reality experienced by teachers throughout Scotland in the last year. Nevertheless, let us turn to the main points the report makes. Essentially, the implementation of CfE has highlighted a paucity of curricular thinking. This, compounded by a political desire to extend the pre-qualification phase of secondary education to a 3-year phase of a broad general education, has had a significant impact on the S3 or 4 middle phase of secondary education. The result was that, given most subjects were predicated upon a 160 hours commitment, schools and authorities have diverged significantly on how to achieve a BGE and the implications that followed for national qualifications. Essentially, where you lived in Scotland resulted in a greater variation in secondary structures and exam presentation patterns in the CfE era than happened previously under O-grade, standard and higher still programmes. Whether you can do 5, 6, 7 or 8 national 4 or 5s may well depend upon your postcode. In short, Scotland no longer has a coherent national curricular approach, at least in S4. What are the consequences for pupil achievement? The change from a fairly uniform 8-column S3 or 4 structure before CfE has impacted upon course enrolment and attainment. For instance, there has been a 17% decline in S4 enrolments and a 24% decline, that is 24% drop in attainment from 2012 to 13 to 2014 to 15. Enrolment declines are even larger in subjects such as modern languages, business or computing, and creative or aesthetic subjects. Modern languages has a drop of 49% in enrolment and attainment and 61% in Gaelic. Such facts highlight CfE for our young people resulted in a narrowing of the curriculum and lifetime opportunities that ensue by specialising too early. In addition, given the postcode lottery nature of subject choice, pupils moving between schools may well find themselves unable to reach their full potential. Some schools begin national courses in August of S3, some October, some December, and some even as late as April. Consequently, a pupil transferring school may well not find the courses they've chosen to be available, to have started earlier, resulting in them being behind, or, if they are fortunate, still to begin, but they are left treading water. None of these outcomes is either necessary or desirable. In addition, the over-pedantic and soul-destroying assessment that has become a feature of the new qualifications is demotivating. Assessment should be meaningful, manageable, and motivational. Given all these considerations, I suggest an urgent structural review is both essential and desirable to provide a balanced, broad education for our young people to help them fulfil their potential. I ask you to support this motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Do you have a seconder?
Matthew Mackey, Delegate 39, Perth and Kinross. Mr President, Congress, in January 2016 there was a headline in the Courier newspaper: Dundee Educationist delivers damning verdict on the curriculum for excellence. In the same week, the Times Ed reported Scottish curriculum narrows and attainment drops under new regime. These articles followed the publication of a research paper by Dr Jim Scott in his submission to the OECD Curriculum for Excellence team. 5 months later, just this week, we've hit the front pages again. Scots pupils face damaging lottery over the number of exams they can sit. These latest headlines follow a separate report, this time from Reform Scotland, which has concluded that inequality of opportunity is now built into our exam system. While headline writers are often guilty of overstating the situation, it's clear that pupils across Scotland are studying fewer qualifications in S4, the curriculum has narrowed, attainment has dropped, and this is damaging. Personally, I'm not sure that we needed academic research papers to tell us this. It's a statement of the blindingly obvious, but it needs addressed as a matter of urgency. At my own school, we have what I would describe as a compromise of a curriculum. A response to pressure to deliver BGE until the end of S3 has been an exercise in damage limitation. Pupils still make course choices at the end of S2, but they now choose to only 7 subjects for S3-4 instead of the 8 subjects that they could have chosen when we did standard grade and intermediate. But a narrowing of the curriculum even from 8 subjects to 7, never mind 6 or 5, has been needlessly destructive. It's been damaging in terms of attainment. To illustrate, in 2012, the first year of our new curriculum model, we asked pupils moving from S2 into S3 if they could have picked one more qualification, what would they have chosen? 35 of them told me that they would have taken computing. That's 2 classes, 35 potential computing scientists lost from a single school in a single year, and well over 100 since. And we pretend that promoting technologies and other STEM subjects is a priority in terms of developing the young workforce, and yet our curriculum positively discourages it. It's been damaging in terms of equality. The Reform Scotland report states some pupils are permitted to sit 5 examinations while others are allowed to sit 8. This is not a choice for individual pupils or their parents, it's a mandatory maximum and leads to a situation where different pupils have different numbers of qualifications based not on their ability, but on a decision made by their school or their local authority. It's been damaging in terms of workload and the health and well-being of students and teachers. Dr Scott's report recognises the time available in 1 year is insufficient to permit teachers to teach the content of their course, for learners to deal with the volume of learning, and for either group to deal with the burdens of assessment. The pressure to deliver a 160-hour qualification in a single year means we actually, at my school and unofficially, have a 2 and a bit year BGE followed by a 1 and a bit year qualifications period. Essentially, subject teachers start delivery of the national qualifications just as soon as they can get away with it. There's a bit of a game going on with the timings, and I'm fed up playing it. What I find remarkable, if not scandalous, is that this situation's come about by accident rather than by design. Dr Scott reveals that what had originally been envisaged was simply an upgrade of both 5 to 14 and of the existing 14 to 16 standard grade intermediate courses. He recognises there are no inherent benefits of an S1 to S3 BGE. The rationale for extension to the pre-qualifications phase was never clear. It was neither asked for nor consulted upon. So imagine that learners could across the ability range could have a broad and balanced curriculum. Imagine they could do 2 or 3 additional qualifications by the end of S4. Imagine if they had a wider range of options to do it higher. Imagine if teachers were given 160 hours to deliver 160-hour courses. Imagine if the burden of assessment with the national qualifications could be alleviated by spreading it over 2 years. And imagine if there was an easy solution to all this, to undo all the damage that's been caused. I'd say there is an easy solution. I share the findings in Dr. Scott's research paper, end the S1, S3 broad general education and return to a 2-year pre-qualifications period, and deliver national qualifications over 2 years in S3-4. Return to a curriculum model that had worked, which best served our learners, which made our job as a classroom teacher a little bit more manageable. Please support the motion.
Thank you very much, Matthew. Do we have any contributions from the floor? I don't see anybody sitting in the front here, so I think we can move to the vote. Could I see hands in favour, please? Thank you very much. Those against? Any abstentions? Carried unanimously. Thank you.